In today's video, gents, I'm not holding back. Seriously, the first fragrance on this list is a 10 out of 10 spring fragrance for men. It was released in 2017, and the top notes are citron, bergamot, and lavender. In the middle, we've got the masculine and versatile Haitian vetiver, and at the base, an earthy elamai. Released by the House of Dior, this was a reimagination, a deeper version of their 1966 classic Eau Sauvage. The fragrance I'm talking about, Eau Sauvage Parfum. Now, you could argue that it's a four-season fragrance, but I'm going to put it into the spring because of that nice, strong citrus opening. And with the vetiver and elamai, this has got great longevity and it projects really well. Now, earlier I mentioned the 1966 classic Eau Sauvage. This would be a great choice as well, but for a lot of guys, yeah, it's a little bit too old school. What I like about the new Parfum is that they reformulated. The idea was to give a more modern, little bit deeper type of feel to the classic. The result is a modern fougere masterpiece that if you like old school cool, but you want something that's modern, this is the fragrance you want to grab. Now, speaking of Dior, it's really hard to go wrong here as there are so many great fragrances in this house. If for some reason you can't find the Eau Sauvage Parfum, or maybe you know it's not your style, definitely check out the classic Homme. It was re-released in 2020 and it is a beautiful four-season fragrance. A woody, musky, aromatic fragrance. It is incredibly versatile. You can wear it pretty much in any situation. That being said, if you live in Southern Florida and you deal with the heat and you want something when you put it on, it's refreshing. At the same time, you want that versatility, check out the cologne. It's going to have a little bit more of a citrus top, but this one is just beautiful. That being said, we're talking about spring fragrances, something that needs to be versatile for when it's cool, for when it's warm. Guys, in that case, check out the Sport. Now, Dior Homme Sport was re-released in 2021. You are going to see other variations out there, especially at discounters. Guys, don't overthink this. If you can get a deal, grab either one. They're very similar. On the new release, though, at the top, specifically, you're going to have lemon, bergamot, and we're going to have aldehydes. In the middle, elamai and pink pepper. At the base, wood notes, albanum, and amber. Now, if you already have Dior Homme 2020 or you've got the cologne, guys, don't buy the Sport. But if you don't own either of these and you want something that's incredibly versatile and is going to have a little bit more of the citrus, very similar to the Dior Homme 2020, guys, you want to grab the Sport. And that's why I'm putting it on this list as perhaps a perfect spring fragrance. Next up, we've got one of my favorite houses, Tom Ford, and this is one of his earlier fragrances, the 2007 For Men. Citrus, warm, spicy with a bit of an aromatic. This is a beautiful fragrance. Unfortunately, it doesn't have much longevity. We're talking maybe 2 hours max. So if money's no object and you can overspray, reapply, grab it. But I'm going to recommend for most of you guys, Costa Azzurra. This one has a lot more staying power and it is still an incredibly beautiful fragrance. Released in 2021, you can also smell this by walking into stores like Ulta or Sephora. Now at the top, we've got driftwood, seaweed, oud, musk, ambrette, cardamom, and celery seeds. In the middle, lemon, cypress, yellow mandarin, lavender, myrtle, and artemisia. At the base, oak, incense, vetiver, albanum, mastic, and vanilla. Now, do I pick up every one of those notes? No, but what I do smell is, imagine just walking next to the coast. You're going through maybe an orange grove. There are some cypress, some pine trees around you. That is what I get with this fragrance, and it is a beautiful, beautiful scent. Now, if you want something with a little bit more depth, you've already gone through a bottle of the EDP and you're willing to, hey, spend a little bit more to try something a little bit deeper, richer, heavier, and has a little bit more longevity, then yeah, check it out. Now, a couple other options from the House of Tom Ford that are amazing spring fragrances. Check out Gray Vetiver. This one has been out for a while, I think 2011. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. But this one right here, just really nice, smooth, and definitely a stronger aromatic. Vetiver, as it says, is the main note. And yeah, that's what it is. Or maybe you want to smell like a sexy pirate. Yeah, you like the show Black Sails? Well, in that case, you need to check out Oud Mineral. Released in 2017, this is a marine, aquatic, salty, aromatic with a bit of amber and oud. It doesn't overdo it with the oud, and that's why I really like this fragrance. You will have to overspray. It is expensive. So if you want to smell like that sexy pirate, yeah, you're going to have to give up some treasure. Now, if you want that sexy pirate scent in a fragrance that's a bit more affordable and you don't have to spray because it's got great longevity, check out Acqua di Gio's Profondo. Released in 2020, the top notes are going to be C notes, aquazone, bergamot, and green mandarin. In the middle, rosemary, cypress, lavender, and mastic. At the base, mineral notes, musk, patchouli, and amber. Now, as you can tell by the breakout, it doesn't have the wood or the oud notes that we had over in Oud Mineral, but it has great C notes, great longevity, and is a great value. One of my favorites in this line. And if that's too much, you like that, but you want something lighter, well, go with Profondo lights. That's exactly what they created. This one is true to the name. So if you're going to be down, in Southern California, you're out in the Middle East, you want something that can take the heat and still has, some of the DNA here, check out Profondo lights. And speaking of affordability, let's talk about that Tom Ford Gray Vetiver. I know, again, expensive fragrance, but some of you guys want to get your nose on Vetiver. You want to try it, or you have, and you're like, it's a beautiful fragrance. You need to check out the House of Guerlain. A lot of their fragrances fly under the radar, but you can get a large bottle of their classic vetiver. And this is, if you like that note, this is just a really timeless, great spring fragrance. It's a no-brainer for a guy that just wants to smell good and incredibly versatile. You can actually wear this 4 seasons. You can wear this to the office. You can wear this out on a date. Just a really solid fragrance. And you will see Vetiver Extreme. It's basically the same thing. That's why I like Guerlain. They actually just made it, yes, stronger, longer lasting, more extreme. I like how they actually stayed true to the name. Now, what if you want something even lower cost that's incredibly mass appealing and actually came in a really nice bottle? Guys, check out Antonio Banderas's Icon. The top notes are grapefruit and black pepper. In the middle, sage and lavender. At the base, sandalwood and oak moss. Now, a lot of people have compared this fragrances to Dior Sauvage, and that is the Johnny Depp version, not the one I was talking about earlier, the one that, guys wear out to the clubs. A bit obnoxious for some people. I'd say that this is definitely a toned down version of it, but it's more of a blue fragrance, and I don't feel that you would confuse the two. This one is actually not obnoxious. It's also been compared to Versace's Dylan Blue. It is really a different fragrance. What I like is it's toned down. It's not in your face. It is a blue fragrance. So it's going to be incredibly versatile, perfect for the spring. And I think most importantly, why I'm bringing this one in is it's incredibly affordable, a nice looking bottle, something you'd be proud to have in your collection. Now, if you really do like Ambrox and you want something that projects like Sauvage, check out the EDP version. This one came out just recently and it does project more than the original, as the name implies. It looks good, but still's got a lot of the same DNA as the original Icon. And let's talk about money. There is no shame in having a collection of inexpensive fragrances. In fact, there are tons of great inexpensive fragrances that smell amazing and are solid. More expensive fragrances, sometimes they use better ingredients, but oftentimes it's just a marketing ploy to be able to get more money from your wallet. This one right here has been out for a while, since 1994. What is this? Issey Miyake's L'Odyssée pour Homme. This one is classic. The yuzu note is actually what gives this citrus longevity. That being said, it just smells great. And for so many guys out there spending, $100, $200 on a new bottle, you could go to a discounter, grab this one for, $20, $30, and you're going to smell amazing and get compliments. Now, the note breakout on this one is pretty intense. In fact, I'm just going to show you a quick photo right here of all of the different notes. Now, do I smell all of these? No, but what I can tell you is it smells amazing. It does have depth. Even though it's been reformulated probably 20 times, it is still a solid pick. And speaking of a fragrance that's been reformulated but is still great, let's talk about Paco Rabanne's XS. This is the 2018 version, but this thing's been around, I think, since the mid-1990s. Now, the top notes here are mint, bergamot, and lemon. In the middle, juniper berry, coriander, and geranium. At the base, rosemary, oak moss, and sandalwood. Overall, this is a fresh, spicy, aromatic, woody fragrance that has great projection, great longevity. Some people feel it's a bit synthetic. That being said, if you're a young guy on a budget, you find this at a discounter, I think that this is an amazing buy for spring. And if you like the XS DNA, but you want something for the evening, something that's going to be deeper, sweeter, richer, check out Pure XS. The top notes here are going to be ginger, thyme, grapefruit, bergamot, and green accords. In the middle, vanilla, liquor, cinnamon, leather, and apple. At the base, myrrh, sugar, cedar, wood, cashmeron, and patchouli. Now, this fragrance is a bit polarizing. It's a bit harsh, as many Paco Rabanne fragrances are. But if you like it, you are going to, love it. Now, I know some of you guys are thinking, I wore XS as a teenager. Come on, I'm now in my 40s. I want something more refined. Well, guys, check out Creed Himalaya. Now, Creed Himalaya came out 20 years ago, but it is still an overlooked masterpiece from the house of Creed and one of my favorites. At the top, we've got Calabrian bergamot, grapefruit, Sicilian lemon. In the middle, sandalwood. At the base, musk, ambergris, and cedar. If you loved XS as a young man, you are going to love Himalaya as a mature man with a bit more money, because you are going to spend quite a bit more. But there's just something more refined, beautiful. This is, just incredibly versatile, perfect for the spring. Now, some of you guys are thinking, whoa, Antonio, there is no way Creed Himalaya is a better spring fragrance than Green Irish Tweed. And I would agree. Green Irish Tweed is probably the 10 out of 10 spring fragrance. Himalaya comes close, But yeah, if I had to go with one Creed fragrance for the spring, it would be the classic Green Irish Tweed. Now, in case you don't know, this fragrance has been around since 1985. That being said, it does not smell dated. It's the fragrance that put Creed on the map. No, it wasn't Aventus. That one did help them sell a lot more, but it was Green Irish Tweed when you would think of a classic gentleman. This is, yeah, just the gentleman scent, and it makes sense. When you look at those top notes, you got lemon verbena and iris. In the middle, violet leaf. At the base, ambergris and sandalwood. Overall, a powdery, citrus fragrance with a really nice ozonic and wood note at the base that is incredibly versatile, highly recommended, expensive, yes, but worth it. Now, gents, if you've ever worn a fragrance that smells so good it sets off fire alarms, do me a favor and smash the like button. Now, at this point, some of you guys are saying, Antonio, come back to reality. I am not going to go out there and buy a $500 fragrance. I want to be able to walk into my box store and be able to get my nose on this, smell it, and then, yeah, spend maybe about $100. In that case, check out the Gucci Guilty collection. Tons of fragrances. I've actually got all of them. At some point, I will do a review. But for spring, I'm going to recommend either the Love Edition or you can go with the classic cologne. Now, the cologne came out in 2019, and the master Alberto Marias is the one that put this together. It's really got some simple aromatic notes, and I love it. This is incredibly versatile, but at the top, you're going to see juniper berry, rosemary, and bergamot. In the middle, cypress, heliotrope, and violet. At the base, white musk, cedar, and patchouli leaf. Aromatic, woody, fresh, spicy with a bit of violet. This one right here is just a versatile, easy, no-brainer fragrance that if you wanted to gift it, if you wanted to take it yourself and just simply not have to think to put on a fragrance that you can actually smell before you buy, this one right here, an easy pick. Now, what about the Love Edition? Well, besides both of them being green, they're actually very different fragrances. I mean, they're both fresh, but at the top here, it's going to be a bit sweeter. We've got the kumquat, we have the ginger, the mandarin orange, and the pink pepper. In the middle, lavender, rosemary, and geranium. At the base, vetiver, patchouli, and benzoin. Overall, this one is going to be warmer. It's going to be spicier. It's still got the aromatic and the citrus, but it's going to have more depth. If you're choosing between the two, this one's going to be great for hotter weather. This one, if you want to get compliments, if you want people to notice you more. Now, over the last few years here at Real Men Real Styles, many of you guys have noticed we've gone deep into fragrances. And that's because I kept finding all this research pointing out how you can condition yourself when you smell certain scents to actually go into a state of mind. How certain notes would actually affect your memory. They would affect the way you feel, your emotions, and how basically scent had a direct link to the brain. So leveraging all that information, we created a set of unique scent triggers specifically designed to help you reach peak performance. The Mission Fragrance set is designed for men that want to get unstuck, that want to be more focused, that want to use the power of scent to unlock their minds. If you can't tell, gents, this is a passion project, a really interesting project we've been working on now for over a year. So, gents, if you want to learn more, down in the description of today's video, I'm linking over to Mission Fragrances where you can get more information, where you can enter your email address, and we'll send more information your way on how to leverage the science of scent and how to possibly grab your own Mission Fragrance set. Now, this next fragrance is a beautiful 2021 release by Yves Saint Laurent. It's La Nuit de Homme Bleu Electrique. Now, as much as I like this fragrance, and I would probably rate it close to being a 10 out of 10, I gotta say it is hard to find. So don't worry if you can't find it. It's a beautiful fragrance. If you do happen to see it out there, grab it, smell it. It is very similar to the original, not reformulated version of La Nuit de Homme. And I know I'm mispronouncing a lot of these names. I'm trying my best. I'm a trailer park kid from West Texas. Yeah, the French gets me every time. Now, the fragrance I will recommend that's easier to find and is really good and looked over is similar, La Nuit de Homme Eau de Parfum, again, by Yves Saint Laurent. This is a beautiful, aromatic, warm, spicy, just, classic fragrance. Some guys may consider this a bit feminine, but what I like about this, you can walk into box stores, you can try this, you can smell it, and you can say, hey, is this good for me? Do I want it? Now, you may be wondering what's the difference between the La Nuits versus the Homme Eau de Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent. Not too much, actually. I mean, yeah, you got a different colored cap here, but when we look at the note breakout on this fragrance, at the top we've got bitter orange, bergamot, in the middle lavender, geranium, at the base cognac, oak, cedar, and vetiver. So I lied. There's a big difference between these. Even though they look similar, over here in the Homme collection, these are built off of, they're basically flankers of a different line, even though they look very similar. Over here, this one right here is going to have, like it says, more of the citrus. You've got the wood in there with the aromatics and the fresh, spicy, and the lavender. Again, very similar looking bottles, but very different scents. What I love about this is you should be able to walk into a store and actually spray these on one on each wrist and be able to try. The La Nuit line in general is going to be a little bit sweeter. Over here, the Homme collection is going to be more classic, citrusy, and woody. All right, Jen, so hopefully I didn't confuse you with that last bit. Let's really make this easy. Let's talk about the House of Burberry. They don't have a whole lot of fragrances out there, and the ones that they do, they're pretty easy to be able to tell the difference. And that's what I like about the Hero collection. So with the first Hero fragrance that came out in 2021, it was really simple. When you look at the top notes, bergamot. In the middle, juniper and black pepper. And at the base, Atlas cedar, Virginian cedar, and Himalayan cedar. Now, do I smell the difference between those cedars? Absolutely not. But what I do get here is a very safe, simple, clean fragrance that if you are just getting started with your perfume collection, nothing wrong with picking this one up. Now, when you see the Eau de Parfum that they released just a year later in 2022, you may be thinking, oh, it's just going to be stronger. No, this is a deeper, richer fragrance with a bit more of pine at the top. In fact, at the top, we've got pine needles and ulbanum. In the middle, benzoin and incense. And at the base, again, Atlas cedar, Himalayan cedar, and Virginian cedar. Now, again, you can see they were consistent with all those cedars at the bottom, but let's talk about the differences. This one is going to be more amber focused. It's going to be heavier, deeper, richer. And what I like about this is it's not, I think it's more of a flanker than it is an EDP version of the EDT. That being said, both of these, you should be easily able to get your nose on, and you're going to be able to see the difference. This one is a lot darker, clearly has the EDP on there, and I think really simple to be able to smell both and find the one that suits you better. This one I think would be great for cooler weather, the other one for a little bit warmer weather, more for day wear. This one you could wear into the evening. So if you wanted to grab both, that would work. Now, I know some of you guys are going to roast me because you're going to be like, Hero is a 10 out of 10. You're right. It's not a 10 out of 10, probably a 7 out of 10, but I wanted to include them because I know a lot of you guys are seeing those fragrances out there and they exceeded my expectations. I didn't have big expectations for Burberry. Now, the fragrance I have right here is Prada's 2017 release, and this is L'Homme Eau. At the top, we're going to have neroli and ginger. In the middle, iris and amber. At the base, powder, sandalwood, and cedar. Now, if you're familiar with powdery fragrances, some of you guys are going to think these are a bit too feminine, but other guys really like them. And I think that if you've got the confidence, you can easily pull this off. Pretty much most of the fragrances from the House of Prada are always going to be quality, and you could have easily gone with the classic L'Homme, but this one right here is just solid, a really great choice. Now, what about H24 from Hermes? As many of you guys know, one of my favorite fragrances from this house. Make sure you grab the EDT. I know a lot of people out there like the EDP. If you disagree, get your nose on it. To me, it smells too much like there's too much moss in it. This one just has the right amount. It's got more of a metallic note. Reminds me of like the shooting range, which is great spring memories when, you know, again, going back to my days in the Marine Corps. I just really like this one. I think it's incredibly versatile, a solid spring pick. Definitely, I'd give this one a 10 out of 10. Gents, if you want an amazing fragrance that's going to set you apart, check out Naughton & Wilson's 2022 release, Chypre Fulminaire. Now, the top notes here are going to be ylang ylang, lime, lemon, and orange. In the middle, incense, pepper, and leather. At the base, vetiver, labdanum, oak moss, ambergris, and castoreum. Yeah, that last note is definitely animalistic, and that's what I love about this fragrance. It doesn't try to be a modern interpretation of what a man should be. No, this is classic. This is old school. And Mr. Smelly, my friend Dan, he's the one that, you know, and his perfumer, they put this together over in the UK, and they didn't make a whole lot of them. So if you go over to their website and they're sold out, sorry, he's trying to get more of these out there. But it is just a classic old school fougere. I love it. It's probably the best from his collection. And really quick, Jen, some honorable mentions. First up from the House of Chanel, we have Egoist. This one right here, if you like the metallic note, if you like something clean, you like something clear, old school, check this one out. Next up, if you like citrus mixed in with a bit of mint, a classic, versatile, dress up, dress down fragrance, you want to check out Allure Homme Sport Extreme. Next up, we got Givenchy's Gentleman EDT Intense. Clean, crisp, clear. If you like a bit of citrus, you want something that's going to last and have great projection for the first couple hours. After that, you will need to reapply, but it just smells so good, you aren't going to mind reapplying this. And if you want something different, you want an aquatic mineral with a little bit of weirdness to it, check out Mugler's Alien Fusion. Now, I will say that this is a polarizing scent. Some people like it, some people hate it. Some people feel they didn't go far enough. I really like this one because the original Alien Man, it can be a little bit too much for me. This one is wearable. And what if you want something fruity? You want something spicy? Check out Valentino Umo's Born in Roma Yellow Dream. Yes, that's a mouthful, but that top note, the pineapple mixed in with the mandarin orange, in the middle, ginger, gingerbread, and spices, and at the base, vanilla and cedar. Now, some people are going to complain it smells a bit too synthetic. I like it. What I like as well is that you can go into a box store, you can smell it for yourself, and you can say, you know what, I like it, or you don't. In either case, you'll know. And I actually don't think many guys are pulling this one off, because it always seems like these fragrances are kind of hidden down in the lower section, even though they're decent. All right, gentlemen, so what video to watch next? How about fragrances that nobody talks about, but they're friggin' amazing? Guess what? I've got you covered in this video right here. Go check it out. It is a solid video. You'll enjoy it, especially if you like fragrances. That's it, guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.